You know, I think the most valuable thing I have ever learned is how to relax. Like, do you know how to relax? So it took me quite a while to figure out how to relax, how to do less, but still like live a life, just be balanced or something. So I'm just really grateful to have learned how to relax and how to just slow down, just sit on the grass, just enjoy an evening, like to myself, enjoy myself, my own company, my solitude. It's really nice. It's really nice. Just being out here. So I used to do everything. I used to do everything when I was a kid. I always had like a lot of extracurricular activities and school and just kind of do all of it. And I loved it because I didn't know any better or any different, really, school. And then I graduated and I was doing the whole work full time, go to school full time, and somehow still have a life, like a boyfriend and friends and stuff like that, and just have a good time. Just had decent grade, good grades, whatever, and just had a good time working a lot, and all that school. I even took Japanese, so supposedly a hard language. I mean, it is. It's a hard language, but I also wanted to learn it. So when you want to learn something, it's really much easier to learn it. But it was a 4-credit course at RIT. So I had my regular full-time at my 4-year college at St. John Fisher, and then so in SUNY schools you can do transfer credit and do all that. And so because they didn't have Japanese at Fisher, so I could go to RIT and do transfer credit, and it was pretty great. Because I'd get like the bill in the mail from RIT and it would say 0. That'd be really nice. And then I graduated, and then I was still working the job that I had. Nothing got easier, even without school. Because then I just felt like I needed to do more. I was still maladaptive daydreaming a lot, so I had to get through that first, I guess. When you are daydreaming is like short and it only takes a few seconds, and you kind of just go somewhere else, or you're thinking about something for just a little while. And well, I could do that for hours. And because it's one of those things that you're unhappy out here in the real world, so you go into your head and you'd rather live there because you can create the world in your head. And I did. I created a pretty cool place, and I was really happy about it. I still do it, so, but I mean, it's not disruptive. I choose when to do it, and I still have the story, and I'm writing the story, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, but I like being busy. I've always liked being busy and having stuff to do, and places to be, people to talk to, stuff like that, so that when I moved to Virginia and found conventions, like between anime conventions and video game conventions and horror conventions and writing, sci-fi conventions. I just found all these conventions, and I would go to them and I'd hang out with them and make friends and stuff. And then I'd start working them, because that just seemed like the natural progression is let me volunteer. And then I found one, and I stuck with one that I felt appreciated me. And yeah, I was with MagFest for 13 years. And over that time, it just became more and more of my identity, and I didn't really realize it. It just messed with all of my relationships. But it gave me my relationships at the same time as it messed with them. I don't know. It got more and more destructive over time, but I didn't really realize it. It's one of those, I look back on it and I'm like, yay, stuff's the best. I hear it all the time, but now I get it. I was my own problem. So I volunteered for 9 years and I got hired. So it's really interesting. So You work nights and weekends on this super passionate thing while you have a day job. And I was moving around and doing different stuff, and anywhere I went, I had to get a new job or whatever. So doing office jobs and temp jobs and the occasional retail job, whatever I needed to do to get by and just have money. And I still didn't learn how to relax. It got worse and worse because then I got hired. That was already busy. Like, there's my days, there's my nights, there's my weekends. So I was already really busy. And the event is around New Year's usually. So December's, I could plot out my December. After I got hired, it was much worse because then I was living alone in Baltimore, and it was my whole life. It was everything. So imagine like waking up around 7 a.m. and then I ate breakfast and watched The Daily Show, and I would then turn on my laptop and just sit in the chair, sit at a desk, and I'd work from home when I could, or I'd go into the office if I needed to. I would try to remember to eat. I would try to remember, like, oh, don't finish this email, just go to the bathroom. Finish the email when you come back. It's okay. I was really bad like that. And then I just work until, like 10 p.m. because by that time I was getting tired, and there's a appreciation of returns. You can't just keep going because you're too tired to keep going. And I'd stop around 10 and just kind of relax with something and then go to bed and wake up and do it again. And that's my whole Thanksgiving to the end of the year. So like Christmas, I don't remember my Christmases. They would be ruined. They were ruined, all of them. I remember the early days. I had some all-nighters at my mom's dining room table, like working on the program book. I started with registration for Mag 4, so I just showed up and did it. And I saw what it was doing to our head guy, Brendan Becker. And then I saw what it was doing to him, and because he would be like getting us ramen and getting us bags and taking care of us, but he'd be like sleeping under a table in HQ. If we needed a sign, then he would just write one with a Sharpie and stick it to a chair. If we needed a screen or something for a projector and we didn't already have one, it was like, oops, or the thing broke or something. I don't remember what happened, but he took a sheet and taped it up to the wall. Like, we were badass back in the day. Everything was scrounged together and duct taped, and it was great. It was so great. And I saw what it did to him, and I saw what he was doing with the program book. So I came from yearbook and stuff, so I already knew how to make a program book basically, and he was doing it in like 3 hours before it went to print. Okay, so he would write the band's bios and just find their pictures online and just use that. I'm just like, that's not how this works. He'd go and ask them for this information so you can put it together. And he would, oh God, yeah, no. So I took it from him. Like, can I do this? Very reluctant at first, but yeah. And from there, like, because I had to get all the information for the program book, and then I had all the information. So when we needed to make a new Drupal site, I learned HTML. In order to make the program book, I took an $80 community course. I learned Illustrator in order to make the program book and put it together and do all the stuff. I was coordinating with I needed all the information from the guests and the bands. So, and then later on, it was really nice. We had a music department, and they took care of that stuff instead of me. That was really nice. I just kept tumbling around, and there was more gaps, and I would just fill them because I knew it was the right thing to do, and I just kept taking on more and more and more. Became guest coordinator. I did the Drupal website, the second one. I was able to make the histories and stuff like that. Oh, I was talking about relaxing. I wasn't going to talk about Mag too much, but oh well, this is where we are, I guess. So, because Mag was just a lot of burnout. It was a lot of burnout because over that time, it kept getting bigger and bigger, because then we couldn't even have the program book anymore, because after we moved from the Hilton to the Gaylord, everything changed from going into MagFest 10. Like, and that was the great year, you know. That was the year we had Uematsu-san and his Earthbound Papas, and it was great. It was so great. And we had the Gaylord, and we're like, we don't deserve this. What are we doing? This is such a nice place. Because we had gone for the Hilton, and it was so small and everything. But it was big, and then it became small because we kept getting bigger, and we had like, by the time we had like 2,000 or 3,000 people, we're like, okay, this is a lot. Extended out to a fourth day, and registration got screwed. So MagFest 9 was like, we had lots of problems. And then after that, it's just like, we can't have a program book anymore. And I'm like, guys, because Brendan left, and then I became head of guests because I couldn't have somebody else doing it, and still me just being the coordinator. So I was the head and the coordinator. I just did everything for the department. And I'm like, guys, I need something. And they're like, well, PAX uses this thing called guidebook. So I got us in there, and I started making the guidebook. And then the next 7 years, I made the guidebook. I put the whole thing together every single year and talked to all the departments and gathered the whole thing and made the schedule. Like, I had to start with the guests, and then we got a panels department, and music department. It was great. Like, people were just picking stuff up, and I'm like, yes, yay. Thing I didn't have to do, and I could just work together with more people, and it was really nice. But I just kept picking up more and more stuff, and then it was always at a necessity. It was always fixing a problem by having another department. So there was just, we wanted to do all these events and stuff. And I remember we had, what's that dancing one? It's the Bach dancing one. And they needed more space because they weren't getting it down in the game room or in LAN. I was just, okay, so like part of that. And then I kept on having all these other events that needed more space. And then I got the circus. I people, and I'm like, I need more space. So the events department came out of that, and then it needed a room. It needed a high ceiling because of the jugglers. The events department, it was like part of guests, but not. It was like, it started in my budget, and then, yeah, I created it and got it out of there. And then later there was, so I had the marketplace and the music department, and we would have tables for every band had half a table in the marketplace. But they didn't, now most of the bands don't like selling because they're artists, and a lot of artists, they don't like selling. Some of the bands, they love meeting, you know, their people, so they like working a merch table, but most of them did not. So marketplace would get upset when the band did not use their half a table for like the 8 hours or whatever a day that the other vendors had paid to be there for. So it was becoming a problem. And I'm like, okay, so what if we ran it ourselves? And that is where Rock Island came from. I put that whole thing together, and then they bulldozed me. God, that's a different story for another time. They were like, here, let's make some divisions. And really, the divisions were just, there was a programming division, an operations division, and then a gaming division. We didn't have anybody to lead the gaming division. And I read the programming division. Like, obviously, I was already doing the job. Now I just had more, I had more responsibility. Like, it was more mapped out. And I'm like, this is great. I'm already doing it. So let me do some more. But like with authority. And it's like, but really, the whole thing, the only reason they did that was to make, so we hired this guy to be COO, the Chief Operating Officer, and he had like no management experience. He did not earn that position. He was just on the board of directors, and then they just hired him. So yeah, no, it's all unethical and terrible. And he just didn't know how to do his job at all. And so they needed to quiet people down so that they then made sure that people like associate this guy with operations. So he became the director of operations at the event to try to make people think that he could be head of operations for the company. because there's the event and there's the company. They're two different things. So all this stuff happened like over a decade ago. So it's really old news. So I'm not saying anything new that people didn't already know. But yeah, because they kept telling me, well, the divisions there were temporary. Because they just needed to quiet everybody down. But I'm like, no, it's a thing. And then they're like, no, they're going to be division heads. And it's like, but division directors made more sense because the name, because you could say DH and that was department heads. And then DD was division director. And they're like distinct. But that COO became the ED. And like, I just like to rename things because then I named it. It's terrible. But that's how narcissism works. So, yeah, like unnecessary, just for ownership and control. It's really bad. Yeah, I didn't mean to talk about MagFest so much, but I guess I am. Let's see. But I just got burnout after a while. Like, I didn't realize it was my identity. I didn't realize how deep into it I was. But I was also a people pleaser, and it was like, I was my own worst problem. That was my biggest enemy. Allowing all that stuff to happen, allowing myself to be taken advantage of, and allowing just bad shit to happen to other people. Because there's this thing that happens when you're working for a narcissist, is that you're trying to protect everybody else from them. And it doesn't work. It just doesn't, it's not sustainable because like you're killing yourself over it. So anybody out there working for a narcissist, like, don't, just go. It's not worth it. It's not, no matter how much you love the thing. Like, if that narcissist is has any power, they will use it, and they will weaponize anything and everything against you. So yeah, that's not great. I'll talk more about that some other time. These are all these different stories, because I just wanted to talk about getting burnt out, because by the time I left, it was emotionally really challenging, and it was really awful. And I did everything to heal for like 3 years. But like the very next job I got after that, like I moved to LA and things started to change, and then I got a job, and they only wanted me to work 7 hours a day. And I wasn't allowed to take work home. If you weren't working, then you didn't get to think about work when you weren't working. And I'm like, oh. So I work for 7 hours a day, and then, wait a minute, I sleep for like about 7 hours. So I have 10 hours to myself? What does that mean? I can have a life? I can have hobbies? I can do stuff? It was very, very strange. It was delightful feeling, but it was very strange in the beginning. Sometimes I can just tap into that feeling, and it's just like, it feels like a hole, but like a delicious hole. It's good. Like this confusion and this chaos. Like, I didn't understand what to do. I thought it was happening. This is great. I can go on a walk. I don't have to think about this stuff. So I had the idea in my head that, yeah, well, all this bad stuff happened. It's like if Mag hadn't been actually destructive to me in some way, that then, because it was so much part of my identity, that if the universe hadn't ripped me out of it, that's what it had to do. It had to rip me out of it in order for me to be able to do anything, to be the person I actually am, and not this person that I was there. And I have a ton of skills. I learned so much. Like, I can do so many different things, and it's great. I love it. But yeah, the universe had to like just pull me out of it, and that's why it took so long to heal. And I'm okay now because all of this, now I can relax. My whole life, even before Mag, like I was just always busy. There was this thing that I had attached my self-worth to my productivity. It's really bad that if I'm not doing something, then I am worthless. I am unlovable. I am not good enough because I'm not doing something. And that's just not true. And it was really nice to have that kind of knocked out of me and healed out of me after a while. And it's just really nice to be able to relax. I miss my hammock. I am now a nomadic traveling cat sitter. And I love spending time in my hammock because I was going camping more often, but just generally, I just like taking the hammock anywhere because it's very small and compact and just like a couple things that go around the trees and it doesn't hurt the tree and it's great. And I can travel with it and it's really just really nice. I can set it up just about anywhere where I find two trees that are approximately 12 paces apart. And it's just really nice to just be able to relax because I didn't know how to do that. Like I can remember there were so many times that I didn't know how to do that at all. I had no clue. Like if I had free time, I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't even play games. I worked for FagFest and I didn't play video games. And it was always like a JRPG or an adventure puzzle game, you know, that type of thing, Zeldas and stuff. Or just actual puzzle games like Sudoku or something, you know? Like, wow. I'm good now. It's really nice. I did not mean to talk so long about just how nice it is to be able to relax. And I feel like there's a lot of tangents in this story that I could go into. So if there's anything specific you want to hear more about, I can talk about it. And just leave a comment, I guess, and I will answer. How nice it is to be able to just be open and talk about stuff. It's be in the world. Be in the whole wide world. And not just be in this small nonprofit place. It's just so nice to be out here and have the evening go by. And breathe. 10 hours. And then that's when COVID hit. I'm like, I don't even have to go into the office, so I don't even have like that hour of commute there and an hour back. Like, it was great. COVID was really bad, don't get me wrong. But like, for me, I was already alone. So, oh, I'm tired. I am gonna go inside and maybe have some ice cream or something. All right. I will talk to y'all later. Let me know what you want to know more about. Have a great day.